Welcome everyone to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're all doing really well. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe. We're going to be live tonight for the Ashes with my mate Jad. So come in there. We're going to be doing the first session, so that'll be a bit of a good crack with you. We've got the preview tomorrow, just after we've got the team, so that should be cool as well. And we've also got the members stream and the giveaway. So if you want to become a member, get involved in that. Check the link in the description there so you can become a member. And today we've got something very special this weekend, Charlie Curnow's 100th game. So let's take a journey into Pom's Charlie love. Now, we know I am probably, unarguably, number one Charlie's fan. So let's have a look at Charlie. So he was a key forward. There was that whole switch of the 10 games he played as juniors into the midfield. Also played a little bit pinch hitting in the ruck. Interesting, the similarities from Mr. Charlie were anything from Jack Darling to, in his own words, Jakey Stringer, which is a very interesting one. Got curtailed with injury in that year, and his draft range was anywhere from top 3 to, with obviously the drink driving in the back end towards the draft, him sliding down. It was talked about that Melbourne were heavily into him, as were Essendon. Essendon were massively into him. They obviously held the St Kilda pick, which turned out to be pick 6, which they ended up taking Aaron Francis, which may have been a surprise for some. It did definitely put people off Charlie Curnow, and he slipped, and Melbourne went the safe route with Sam Wiedemann. We took Harry, and it was obvious that Charlie was probably the best player left on the board. And in he came, and we saw his draft year, 15.3 touches, 6.1 marks, 2.8 tackles, 3.6 hit outs, the 2 goals and the 2 behinds rounded out per game. And I remember this kid here for Geelong Falcons. I remember checking out a game against the Northern Knights instantly. He kicked 4 goals that game, and it was a real weird thing to see with Charlie. He was so much potential, and what stood out to me, and I think I fell in love at first sight very early, was just the exuberance of him. There was something about him. I like my forwards to have something about them, and he looked cool. He had the frizzy hair. The way he carried himself, he walked around like, you know, the stars of my childhood as a forward. Looked like he was kingpin, looked like he was cool. He looked like a cool cat. And yeah, I was stoked when Carlton got him pick 12, and I was on a high. I was really excited about this kid. People fell for that midfield thing. There was the Cooter similarities from Carlton. Watching a lot of the draft, these type of players who are bigger bodied get the midfield time. It increases their draft exposure. I think he was always going to be a forward. He was destined to be. He was destined to change the game. And in he came. And here we are, game 1, a 60-point belter in a shellacking to Sydney. And this brings back memories. It really does. Charlie's first game, round 2, 2016, in a team where he was partnered by Casbolt and Everett. There was Boakhurst in it, Nick Graham, Kerridge was there, Sam Rowe, Phillips, Tui, Simon White, Matty Wright, Jameson. There was some players. Let's put it this way: there were some players. Oh, Jed Lamb, what a player he was! Matty Wright was our leading disposal getter that day. Top of the goal scoring charts was Kerridge and Casbolt, but this gentleman here. Combined with Mark Murphy for his goal, 11 touches, 4 marks, 1 tackle, 7 score involvements there. He showed signs of that link-up play and that conduit. And there was really signs there from Charlie. And when we look at his first year, 1 win, 5 losses, bless him. He came at the wrong time, but he averaged the 10 touches. He was in amongst it, the 3 marks, the 1.5 tackles, the 2.3 inside 50s, just under a goal game. Not bad for a first-year key forward. And 3.5 touches and 3.5 score involvements per game. He dished it out early on. And it was a real interesting point of time, I think, this for Carlton. It was right at the start of our rebuild. We were developing a very defensive game plan, and he was a bright light, wasn't he? I mean, Matty Wright finished the top in 2016 with 22 goals. Charlie finishing incidentally just below his brother in that one. So there was a long way to go, but a promising start. And then we had game 25 in season 2, and really showed, playing at the high half forward role, what he was capable of. He was literally showing us that this could be something quite special. And he went to West Coast, and it was an intriguing game, wasn't it? It was an intriguing game that day. Carlton losing by 17 in this one. And it was right at the back half of the year. And he played with some luminaries, really, of Carlton. The leading disposal getter that game, none other than Mark Murphy. Mark Murphy and Jack Silvani conspiring to be our top goal kickers that day with Levi Casbolt. 8 marks. He was everywhere. The 5 tackles. He was chasing people down. He really showed that ability to go work high up the ground. 8 score involvements. He was pretty much involved in everything. And as we look at season 2, 5 wins, 16 losses. This was the most wins he'd have for a while. 14.1 touches, 5.7 marks, 2.8 tackles, 2 inside 50s, 1 goal a game, and 4.7 score involvements. And it was an exciting time to be a Carlton fan, I always think. It was really that kind of element of, there was hope at this point, wasn't there? We were in the rebuild. Levi Casbolt, Matty Wright finished above him. He finished 3rd on the goal kickers with 20. And the future was starting to blossom a little bit. This guy was meant to be our future. And we go into season 3, and he backed it up. We're starting to see some goals from Charlie. We're starting to see it. That only the 2 wins. He was in a real bad side at this point. But he won the goal-kicking medal for Carlton with the 1.7 goals, the 5.1 score involvements, 3.3 inside 50, 6.2 marks. Really starting to show it. And we were looking at this point, really, for Harry to get involved. He was joint 2nd with Matty Wright that year. And 13 games was played by Harry, in and out of the side, disciplinary and injuries. And Charlie Curnow, we were thinking this was the year. Do you know what I mean? We've got through this, but these two can play together. And then game 50 occurred 2019, and that was it was hope, wasn't it, at this stage? It was going to be a really good year. We were expecting Charlie to really perform for us. We lost this game by 2 in a tight game. The hope was high, though, at this stage in 2019, and it was never meant to be. And as we know this year, Charlie did finish 3rd on the goal kickers medal with 11. But obviously, we're going to talk about it. The injury against Freo, 12.3 touches, 1.5 tackles, 1.6 goals, 4.4 score involvements. Probably the first time that I've cried post-game, because he'd had them injuries in the juniors. He'd had them injuries for us at this stage as well, which had been in and out of the side early doors, and starting to get some continuity in 2018, played just about every game. And then we got into this stage here, 2019, where there was a few niggles talked about, but he got through it. And we were like, it's just growing pains. But that Fremantle game, yeah, it stung very early doors. I'll never forget him going down. And there was talk here missing the whole season with the injury, that he'd never play again. And we went into 2021 not seeing him until this game, the return. And who can forget the one step goal from 55, the 2 score involvements. It was a return to injury, and it was a dark period, this, for Carlton. We were going through a coaching change. He was a dead man walking, was Wazze. He was a dead man walking. We knew he was going. And Teague was going. We knew we were going to go it, but that wonderful goal, there was a little bit of hope there was a little bit of hope, and he played the season out pretty well. He backed it up with a goal against Gold Coast. Good intent in the next 2 games, but as you can see, for the year, Charlie finished with a losing record again, 1 win and 3, and still contributing around the ground in the limited times he played. But few people, I know I went bold saying he'll get fit and he win the Coleman, and thankfully I was right. And there was the game 75 for him, another loss 15 to Richmond in probably the period that Carlton were going to struggle, but there were some wonderful games in this year. Round 8, the 6 goals against Adelaide, the wonderful win against Sydney, 6 goals, and then 5 goals against Doggies. He always seems to do it. Port Adelaide, West Coast, all wins, and Charlie started to be that cream on the top. We started to see what this guy was about. This is probably one of the few games that he had that was bad. There was only this in round 1, Richmond, which he's finished scoreless, that he had poor games. Aside from this game here, there was only 3 other games he finished with a goal or less. And he was sensational this year, wasn't he? He was sensational. And as we can see, won our goal kick in, took the Coleman off Harry, just under 3 goals a game, 7 score involvements. It was the true coming of age of Charlie. And I've had a few moments where I've got things wrong, and I've had some moments where I've got some things right with my predictions. And this was great. I never lost faith in Charlie. I knew that this kid was something special from the moment I laid eyes on him. It was really love at first sight, and I don't mind admitting that. Adored him, and it's been a wonderful journey. And it's crazy from his debut season being 2016 to now that we're at 100 games. Really shows you that injuries have curtailed him. And what could have been if we had him in that 22. And there's probably an argument that he probably helped him, because I think it made him mature, take a different outlook. And up to 99, 29 wins, 1 draw, 69 losses. He's been through the ringer, and just 2 goals a game, score involvements, pretty good, inside 50s, 2 tackles, 5.7 marks. We've got a lot of Charlie to come. I feel like we've got a lot of Charlie to enjoy. And that really does excite me, because it's no secret he's my favourite player. And I feel like we're going to see the best of Charlie's yet to come. Mark my words. There is a lot more in this young 26-year-old's body to go. And we've got another 10 years of this potentially. Say 7 to be conservative. But he can go on for a while. And I reckon that he'll hit 200 before we know it. And it's scary to think where he could go, really. I think he's getting better. His intelligence is getting better. He's always had a high IQ. And it's a pleasure. And let's look at him against what could game 100 hold. Averages 9 touches. Obviously, this is negated because he got injured in it. So you've got to think about that. 1.3 goals. That gets a little bit higher. It's about the 1.8 mark if you think that he was injured within 10 minutes. 3.7. All of these are probably plus a lot more, but this could be a big game for him. Genuinely, injury aside, he's had some success there against Fremantle, and he'll look at these games and he'll definitely look and think, you know what? This is the time. And we saw last year when he played the Dockers, he had that 4-goal game, was involved in just about everything. And since he's returned to form, he has got that panache. He has got that skill set. He has got that. He's a very special player. And you know what? We are living in Charlie Curnow's world. And, you know, here's to 200, fella. You've given me some great memories, and he's given us all some great memories. And he's got the best song in the league. He's the best player in the league for me. And you know what? I'm so excited about 100. So sharing there your favourite Charlie moment, it'll always stick out for me. It's probably not his best game, but that return, the one-step kick against St Kilda, it filled my heart with joy to see him flex his biceps one more time for the Blues. And one of many times we're going to enjoy it. And I can't wait to do 200. And hopefully, God willing, we see him do 300. But Charlie, this one's for you, my buddy. My favourite player, go Blues. Share your favourite Charlie moment, and how good can he be? The Favola of our side. What a player, and honoured to have
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella